Welcome to the Virginia is for Sports podcast with your hosts, Kevin Flippin as Flip, Paul Gilman as PG50P, and Kenny Wingle as K-Dub. Let's play VA.
It is Tuesday night, and you know what that means. Time for Virginia is for Sports podcast. What's going on, K-Dub?
What up, Flip? What up, though? 2 up, 2 down. Got an exciting night tonight, man.
Absolutely. And as you all can see, we're down one participant. I think KW told me something about a dog grooming school or something. He was going for some training or something. So we don't have PG50P with us tonight, but that's okay. He sends his love, and we're going to make it work without him because the dynamic duo is going to take care of business. So
I think he's doing some arts and crafts with oyster shells, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's what it was. You're
down
right.
On the river.
Yeah, I got you. Maybe he's trying to make a Longwood Lancers oyster shell because
they're probably in high demand right now. So we're not mad at him for maximizing the market right now. I mean,
no,
I think those people in Farmville don't want oyster shells with that Longwood logo on it. He's got to make at least 15 to 17 of them. How long do you think it's going to take him to make those? This is what happens, PG50P, when you don't show up.
Hey,
we talk about you and your research team, your audio engineer.
I don't know how we're going to get through this. Hey, by the way, if anybody is interested, we did a great episode last night with the crazed lunatic who runs the world famous Stomp the Lunatic NCAA tournament March Madness bracket contest. That's a lot of words, but basically picking your brackets. And we spent a good amount of time with Tom going over what he thought the brackets were going to look like or end up like, and we had a good time. So check that out on our website and on our YouTube channel. Pretty good time, huh, K-Dub?
Yeah, it was fun. Unique technique by me for this bracket. Just different strategies, or what did PG call
them? Themes.
Themes. He had different themes for each region. And then we had Stomp the Lunatic, who's spends all day Sunday, he says, Selection Sunday, just filling out his own bracket and trying to figure out who's going to make it to try to be better than Lunardi. It's pretty cool to have his knowledge on the show.
Yes, someone who at 9 years old saw the Jim Valvano NC State upset of Houston. Speaking of Houston, wonder if that's going to come full circle, Longwood. But and fell in love with the game of college basketball, and he's been in love with it ever since. So not a bad first game to see as a kid to make you fall in love with something. But we do have Longwood, JMU, the 31-win Dukes are in the tournament and raring to go. And tonight, I haven't checked any scores, but I do believe UVA is playing in the play-in game. So hopefully, since this is Virginia is for Sports, we want all our Virginia teams to survive and advance. And maybe that's where PG50P is.
He's on his way to one of the games. You think? Which game would you go to? Was it Longwood Houston? James Madison is playing. Well, they're the 15.
You mean of the state teams? Which game would I go to if I could?
Which one? Well, you got the UVA game too, right?
Yeah, the UVA said if they win, their next round game would probably be fun. But I'd probably go to JMU Wisconsin. James Madison seems to be just that athletic program has risen in the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 years. Their football team has been awesome. They went Division I and are still kicking butt. and now their basketball team is back on the map and doing big things. So it's cool.
Yeah, it seems faster than that, but the football had a great season. And the girls' sports have always been good.
Absolutely.
Most of them, their soccer and field hockey and all that. So
softball, didn't the softball team go pretty far a couple of years ago in the tournament?
Yeah, softball. That's my oldest son, Jack. He's narrowed it down to Christopher Newport and JMU. So I said that's not either one of those are not bad schools. He's a soccer player, obviously. So
does he like the beach or the mountains? Because that's what he's choosing.
That's going to be part of the difference. So I don't know.
That's
We'll
great.
see. We'll see.
That's great. So tonight we do have a special guest for week 3. One of the best local coaches. In fact, 2022 VHSL Class 5 Boys Coach of the Year from Highland Springs, Coach Reggie Tennyson has been nice enough to join us. Coach, how the heck are you? Thank you so much for taking some time to join us tonight.
Good evening, guys. Good evening. So thankful, so blessed you guys want to speak to an old man tonight. I don't know what I can tell you that you don't already know, but I'm here.
Hey, we appreciate you having you on, Coach, and it's almost our bedtime, so don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
Don't say the word. Oh, we're right there with you. Look at that gray. So don't feel bad.
There you go.
Hey, so Coach, we connected through Dave Martinez, and I was talking to Dave the other day, and he wanted me to let you know. Well, there's two things. One, he didn't want me to let you know. He said you had a sweet jump shot. He said that, and now he said, but don't tell him that. Don't tell him I said that. But coming from Dave, that's a pretty high compliment because I know he's a shooter. But the other thing he wanted me to ask you, what do you call him? What's your nickname for him?
I call him JB, and that's a long story, and I'll give you a little bit of the backstory on that. But before Dave is really and truly, I have 2 brothers. One of my brothers is deceased, and my other brother is about 15 years younger than I am. But Dave is really like my brother. He and I are very close. I'm the godfather of his children. He the godfather of my children. His wife and I, we grew up together. My wife introduced him to his wife. They went to school together. So we just been in each other's lives for years. So he's a character. He's a character. But we had a expedition, excuse me, a few years ago. We had a classmate that played at Highland Springs. Well, he really wasn't a classmate. He's more of a classmate of Dave's because I was gone when Brian got there. But we went to Pittsburgh to see him play in his rookie season against he was with the Cleveland Browns playing against the Steelers, who's Dave's favorite football team. And we actually went out and hung out in the city a little bit. Now, Pittsburgh, where we were, is an all African-American city, black folks. Dave was myself, Dave, and another friend of ours. And Dave was the only white guy with us. But Dave, we went into this club in Pittsburgh, didn't know where we were. We had the cab driver just take us somewhere we could have fun. And when he pulled up at the club, we saw all these black folks standing out in front of the club, and I asked the cab driver, hey, man, you see I'm with my boys. He going to be all right? He said, no, man, he going to be fine. He'll be great. I said, okay. So we went in the club, and the little bar, it was 2 levels, went upstairs, moderate crowd, people in there having, drinks, I guess some dinner. So we heard all this music downstairs. We went downstairs. And that's where the fun was. And out of everybody in there, Dave was the only white guy in the club, and all the women left everybody and went straight to him. So I heard we heard a couple of them asking, did he know how to jump bone? I said, jump bone. So his nickname, I call him, is JB. So, and that's where it came from. We didn't know what it was. It was some old country saying that they came up with, but they only asked him. They didn't ask us. And so I've been calling him JB ever since.
Oh,
But
that's
he loves
classic.
it. But we couldn't tell his wife, so she's gonna watch this and finally get the truth.
Uh-oh.
That's all
Uh-oh.
right. That's all right.
Anita's cool. She
Yeah,
she'll roll with it.
I think she knows, but we had a ball with him about that. He was so paranoid, he didn't know what to do.
Oh my God. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So Coach and Dave is classic himself. We might have to get him on the podcast at some
He's
point.
just a good brother. Good brother.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your journey in basketball and in life, I guess, and how you ended up in coaching and actually how you ended up at Highland Springs.
Well, I'll be 62 years old this year, and pretty much the only thing I've done consistently has been married and been involved with basketball. This is my 41st, I believe, wedding anniversary year, and I met my wife at Highland Springs, but I grew up in the West End, actually in the Maymount area. We called that part of the city the West End at that time. And we just grew up on the playground playing basketball and football and everything else that kids do. We didn't have all of this social media stuff that kids have today. It's just a natural transition from sport to sport. So as we moved along and progressed, I went to middle school at Thompson Middle School, got cut in the sixth grade for the middle school basketball team. We didn't have middle school football in the city at Thompson Middle School, so basketball was the flag sport in middle school. So the seventh grade, I made the team. In the eighth grade, I made the team, and went on to Huguenot High School for my freshman year, my sophomore year. Played for a couple of legendary coaches there. Bo Jones, played football for him and
Wow.
JV basketball for him. And at the end of my sophomore year, Coach Lancaster moved me up to play a few games on the varsity team. And he left Huguenot in 79, and he came by my house, visited with my parents, told my parents he wanted to take me with him, asked me would I go. And actually, I didn't want to go at first. And he talked to me about my future and with his plans for me. And I said, well, I'll go. I'll go. So we wound up in Highland Springs my junior year. Played for him alongside Ricky Stokes, and I played together there. Ricky came. Ricky was at Huguenot with us, so he came that year, which was his senior year, my junior year. And after that, left Highland Springs, graduated, went down to CIAA, played a little basketball at St. Paul's College, enjoyed that experience. And the love bug hit me around 84. Came home and married my high school sweetheart. And so after that, I left there. After we got married, I started coaching a little AAU basketball. Met a guy at Adley High School named Ron Carr. He saw me coaching an AAU game. He said, hey, man, I need a ninth grade coach. Would you come coach my ninth grade program? I said, absolutely. So that was my introduction to high school coaching at Adley. So I coached the ninth grade 1 year, and I'm going through this pretty fast because it's boring.
No, it's
But
not.
you do have me on, so I'm trying to get through the story.
Hey, we love the progression. I like that you take it to the roots because
So
that's where it started.
Right. So I coached the ninth grade 1 year. I coached the JV team the following season for 2 seasons. Then Ron left, and I took over the varsity program for 3 years there at Adley. And that's where I really, really, really learned how to be a coach. Because at Adley, we didn't have the athletes that I have now at Highland Springs. We had a bunch of hardworking blue-collar kids that wanted to compete with everybody else in our district, and we had some real good seasons there, I thought, and we were building a program that I was very proud of. And to this day, a lot of those kids that I coached, I keep in touch with because they really taught me how to coach. I would have to come home and sit in my garage and look at film and try to figure out schemes to play against Highland Springs, the Veranas, the Henricos, Armstrongs, and all those places, and just have my kids competitive. And they really, really We scared a lot. We never beat Highland Springs, but we played them tough. We beat Henrico when they were ranked, I think, number 5 or 6 in the area. Played Verona twice, real close. When Stu Richardson was coaching the team, I think he got the benefit of all the whistles that night.
What years were you at Atlee?
I took over, I believe it was 99.
Okay.
So I think some of my big guys, my guns were little Timmy Collins, who went on and played at Christopher Newport. I had a kid named Earl Dyer who was pretty tough. Christopher Jefferson, who played for me there. Reed Martin, who was my point guard there. Keith Searles, all district. All these kids made all district while I was coaching them. They were just great ball players, hard workers.
Do you stay in touch with Reed? Doesn't he run a league at Big Ben's?
I haven't seen Reed in years, but I do know he runs that league up there.
Yeah,
at
I
Ben's
think it's Vail Sports.
That's
runs
it.
At Big Ben's. My brother plays in that, and of course we had Kevin Brooks on here, which runs Hanover Youth, and he runs that out of Big Ben's too. So that's cool. So Atlee, and then
Atlee, I left there and thought I was headed for retirement in 04, I believe it was. I was coach of the year there when I was there in 03, 04. I was coach of the year while I was at Atlee.
Nice.
We had a pretty good run. That was the year Highland Springs won their first state championship, or their first in the modern era state championship. And thought I was headed for retirement. And Coach Lancaster called me and said, "Son, you know the deal.
come on,
be at practice in November. Let's get it started." So I came home and I've been there ever since 04.
Wow.
Yeah, he left in 2015, the 15 season, and I took over 2016, and you know the rest of the story. I'm still running the program.
That's awesome.
Coach of the year, right?
Yeah.
So before I ask the next question, I'm just curious. The Brian that you went to see, is that Brian Washington?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy was a freak.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely. Great athlete. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So you've been coaching a while, and I'm always curious because all of us are getting up there, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess it's a good thing, right? What's the main difference in your mind, or what you see in the kids from the early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, the 90s, let's just call it, and the kids now? Are there some similarities? I'm sure there are, but what are the biggest differences that you see, or maybe things that frustrate you sometimes?
For me, especially as an old school coach, I've been around and seen a lot of great teams in this area play, a lot of talent. The kids today, I think they really have not defined commitment. They don't really understand what it takes to be competitive and successful. They have the wrong impression of hard work because it's about them and not about us. So, and I'll break it down a little further. When I talk to my kids, I talk to them about being good teammates. And good teammate just don't go to workouts for himself. A good teammate wants to take his teammate with him to a workout to get better. And I try to convey that to our guys, where I compare that a lot to our 07 state championship team, where I was a part of as an assistant coach. Those guys, they worked out together in the summer. They went to the movies together. They went on dates together with their girlfriends. They just were more of a unit than these kids today. It's my biggest challenge today is helping these guys understand what a family really is. Nothing against what they got going on at home. I'm talking about an athletic family. So, because in the trenches, when there's trials and tribulations, we have to pull together. We can't point fingers. But they see so much now on TV, so much individualism that they see on television. Not the Kobe's, the Kyries, the Stephs, the LeBrons, all these people that's individualized the sport, I think affects these young people. And they think that, hey, in order to be good, I got to align myself with somebody that I think is good instead of working hard to become good.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, I so appreciate those words because K-Dub and myself both have young players, right?
Right.
Kids that are making their way in the sports world, and that's great advice, right? Because it isn't about me all the time. Somebody used to say, hey, there's no I in team, but there's an M and an E. I'm like, well, we can't be doing that. This is about the team and the family. That's what you got to look out for. So thank you for that. That's awesome.
Well, here's what I say about that team concept, because I preach that every year. I always tell my kids, in no civilized language in the world, you can spell team with an I in it. You just can't do it. And no civilized language that I am aware of.
Right.
Hey, Kobe said, but there's a me in that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
they listen to that.
Well, that goes back to individualism.
Yep.
Talking about me.
Yeah, the social media plays into that too. I think we had Coach Brooks on, and he said we asked him a question. He said his season's so short that he doesn't get enough time to spend with guys. So, that's the challenge too in high school is the guys they might be playing other sports too, right?
Absolutely.
So they're with a whole different crew. So
absolutely,
you got to make it happen quick, right? In high school.
I mean, especially where I'm 50% of my team every year since I've been there been a combination of basketball and football players. Our state championship team had, I think, three football players that started on that team. So that hurts us or hurt me and our staff in the off season, because the summer is where it's where you work on all your deficiencies. You make all your corrections to prepare for the upcoming season. And if you don't have those guys right there in camp, you're already dealing with them playing AAU. So you're dealing with that. You got to make concessions for the AAU program because mom and dad think that they are LeBron and Kobe in the house and Steph Curry, all of them in the house, and this AAU coach. And nothing against AAU. I don't want to knock AAU. Somebody be saying I'm hating. I'm not. I just feel like you have to have some time with your coach, your high school coach, so you'll know what he think your deficiencies are. Yeah. And if you can work on them in your AAU practices, so be it. I mean, more power to you. But if we don't,
team, right?
I hate to hear fans and parents say, "Hey man, what you doing? You ain't doing this. He ain't getting no better. He can't get better. If we can't get better during the season. We got to get better in the off season. You got to work on those deficiencies in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
When that's all we work on. But it is what it is. We just have to deal with the hand we dealt right now."
Mm-hmm. So I'd imagine, Coach, with a program, the program that you've built and what you guys have done over there, there's a lot of demand for. I'm curious to know how many kids are trying out for varsity, and what kind of demands. And I'm sure the AAU or the influence, and it's difficult because the parents think they got a LeBron, but they don't. You might start at AAU, and you might not even make my squad, right? Because it's about this team and this team we're building. So, how many kids are trying out, and what are those? Do you get those crazy demands from parents or from players to, hey,
well,
am I just making the team?
Right. Well, I have a pretty good community at Highland Springs. With my parental involvement, I don't really have issues with the parents per se. I'm not challenged on how I see little Johnny or what we think, because we try to be fair. And if you come see us play, I play probably 8 deep. That's how I play. I play my starters majority of the game. That's just, what I do. That's how I saw it done for 10, 12 years. And it worked for me. I don't apologize for that. I think you get better. Like I said, in practice in the offseason, you have to earn to get on the floor. I don't make any promises to no parents about your son will play these many minutes. I don't guarantee nobody anything. You have to earn a right to be on the floor. And I just think that's an old school concept that I'm just not going to give up. And that's just where I am with it. So, I have a thing. You can call me. You can talk to me if you got an issue you want to talk about, or you want me to help you or give you some suggestions about what your kid might need to do to improve their game. We can have those conversations. But the only thing we can't talk about is playing time and how much he gonna play. We're not doing that. I don't do that because then you want my job.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Go
That's
ahead,
great.
Flip.
So, Coach, I don't want to assume. I'm going to ask you because if I assume, you know how that goes. Who has been your biggest mentor, and what's the best advice that mentor is kind of provided to you over the years?
From other than my father and my mother, from a man standpoint, and a personal standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, and since my father's been gone, he's been like a surrogate father pretty much all my life. Is George Lancaster, because that's who that's who I played for. That's who I always tell him. He always said, "Man, you didn't work for me. We worked together." But that's who I worked for 12 years before I got my turn. And that's who I learned majority of the game from. The concepts that I use, the way I speak to my kids, a lot of that is him. And what I basically have done is not try to reinvent the wheel. I've just greased it a little bit so it roll a little smoother the way that I like it. But as far as what I do and what I think about the game, he's been more influential. And we spent every day this last week together at the state championship. So every last one of the state championship games, because we just that close. He's really like my best friend. We go on vacation together. His lady friend and my wife. We travel together. We do a lot of stuff together. We just have developed relationship that's second to none. And I didn't talk to him today, but I'll probably be talking to him tomorrow because that's just how connected we are.
But yeah, plus he's called you twice to come to Highland Springs, and you've been right there, right? So
That's right. That's right.
I'm curious now what he's going to call you to do. Does he call you and say, "Hey, come cut this grass for me"?
No. He wants me to move to Chase City with him. He went back home, so he
Oh,
keep
wow.
telling me about all the land down there that I can buy cheap. He want me to build a retirement house down there. So, that's my guy, man, and I love him to death. And he's still coaching me. He'll coach me. He'll tell me some stuff. I always had a thing when I work with him. If we had a discussion about a situation in his office about a kid or concept or a play or a team, if I didn't agree with what he would say, I wouldn't say nothing. I just okay, and I do the same thing now. When we talk, he know and I don't agree with him. I just don't say nothing. I let him get it on out and go from there. But hey, man, it's just special. It's a special relationship. He's such a legend, man. He is the legend. Trying to get him to sit on the bench with me, but he can't stay still. He played too much golf. I mean, he won't come on. A member of his country club down there. So every day when the weather's good, he playing golf. And now he goes scout games. He done stopped coaching officially. He stopped this past season. So he got all that free time on his hand. He go play golf. But he's still in real good shape. So I'm still trying to get him to come sit on the bench with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So he's down in Chase City. That's Jerome Kersey area, isn't it?
Yeah. Now my brother played with Jerome Kersey at Longwood. Yeah, the brother Frank that played with him.
Wow.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, Caleb, do you have another one, or we're gonna go into Mount Rushmore?
Hey, no, that's a good segue into Longwood and the NCAA tournament, Coach. I know you're watching the tournament. So
yeah, and I'm pulling for Longwood because I actually had two brothers. My youngest brother played there for 2 seasons, and I just coached. Coached against Ron Carr, who used to be the coach at Longwood, who's the coach at Cosby now. He coached my youngest brother. And Cal Luther was the coach when Jerome was there. Cal Luther and I share the same birthday. We were born in the same month of the same day.
Wow.
But so I always have an affection for Longwood. Try to get one of my daughters. I have 3 daughters. Try to get one of them to go to Longwood. They went Tech, ODU, and George Mason. Couldn't get any one of them to go to Longwood. But I love that school.
I spent a lot of time at Longwood, Dogwood, as we used to call it.
That's what you got, yeah.
In the castle and all that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, K-Dub, were you going down the path of maybe finding out who coach is looking at for the NCAA tournament? Coach, are you any favorites?
And well, I try not to pick favorites, but I do have some teams that I like, and I like Kentucky, and I like NC State. And the only I'm not that though I'm picking those 2 teams to win it. I just like the way they play. And I like the young. I think I like the youth at Kentucky. I like the point guard. I can't think of his name. The white kid. Oh my goodness, he's some special. And then Dillingham is the other kid from Carolina. Those 2 guys are exceptional. I like their team, but I'm a Kentucky fan. And then I really just got on the bandwagon with NC State since the ACC tournament because I watched them play them 5 games. And they just overachieving. They really are over. I mean, they might be a Cinderella team.
Yeah,
They
might
get
hot at the right time.
Yes,
right? Going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just like JMU's rolling right now. They got the longest winning streak. They're 13 straight, and people better worry about them.
They got to. Yeah. I like their team. I like. It's hard for me as a fan because at this point of the season, I'm a fan. So I'll probably stay up. I'll be up probably till the last game go off and then fall asleep. But when it ain't basketball season, I'll be asleep this time of night.
We hear you.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, Coach. Oh, man, that's great. So, and by the way, the DJ Burns kid for NC State, I mean, as big as he is and as agile as he can be, he has got such a good mind for the game. The passes he makes. I'm a Tar Heel fan, even though I'm on a Virginia sports podcast, and he tore us up Saturday night. He tore us up.
He did. I like that kid, but I don't think he has an NBA career ahead of him because he's about 60 pounds overweight. I don't think he can play in the NBA. He got to lose some weight, but he definitely has the skill set. But I don't know if he lose all that weight, he'd be as effective as he is with that big body. Because he told Baycott up with that big body.
He did.
And he can pass that thing too. I mean, I like his game. I mean, he knows he plays the game the right way.
Absolutely. I couldn't hate on that at all.
Yeah.
So, Coach, we do a segment called Mount Rushmore every episode, and sometimes we'll give our opinion, but there are other times when we'd rather get the opinion of the guest, and this is one of those times. I don't think our listeners care too much about what K-Dub and I think tonight, so. I've kind of forwarded you up the question, so to give you a chance to at least think about it. I don't want to just hit you out of nowhere. But the first one is we'd love to know your Mount Rushmore of the greatest Virginia high school coaches of all time from your perspective.
We already know who number 1 is.
I know who number 1 is.
George Lancaster.
There we go.
Hey, Coach, we're gonna need to get you back on with Coach Lancaster. I think that'd be a great convo too. You know, we can do a little earlier for Coach, or we'll get him on the golf course and just go us 4.
Oh, there you go.
Go play some golf, and we'll just talk basketball.
He can hit it too.
Yeah,
I bet.
I'm gonna give you Lou Anderson, a football coach here. Was very, very successful. Did a lot for young people. Dave Robbins. Dave Robbins coached Virginia Union for a long time, but I know you guys know he was the head coach at TJ for years. Matter of fact, during my years, he's a great coach. Bill Lawson from Petersburg, great coach. My guy from Hopewell, basketball coach, Bill Littlepage. Another great basketball mind. Um, uh, Guy Davis from Henrico.
Yes.
Guy
Another good-
Davis, another great basketball mind, just a great coach. Got so much out of his players. Very competitive. Uh, um,
That's a great list. Who was the guy out at Freeman all those years? Parpert?
Say his name again.
Larry Parpert? Parpert?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
Larry Popper. He was a good coach too. Great coach.
Yeah, he seemed to he got a lot out of those kids. It always seemed like Freeman was going further than you thought they would.
Yeah. Some of it has some good players. Fred Facker. Can't think of I can't think of the other kid name. He played football too as well. He was a good football player. But Freddie and I graduated together. That's why I remember Fred so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great list. That's a great, and you're on that list. So we
no,
have you on that list.
Well,
Coach Lancaster called us and said you put Coach Tennyson on there.
Right.
So
he probably would tell you that too. Yeah.
Oh, it's true. All right. So the second question, more closer to home. Not that that's not close to home, right? I want your Mount Rushmore, the 4 greatest athletes to come out of Highland Springs High School.
Woo. Yeah, I saw that question. That's a tough one. My point of reference, as you can see, my point of reference is always basketball, but we've had some great football players, and I'm gonna stick with my point of reference because football players, they're always getting so much.
There you go.
But I'm gonna start with Andre Ingram.
There you go.
Andre Ingram was not only a great basketball player, he's had a great career, and he's a tremendous human being.
He stays active around here, coaching. I think he is.
He works with a lot. He still works with a lot of young people. I think he is back and forth from the West Coast and here, but he's pretty much here now a lot, working with a lot of young kids and just spreading the knowledge. But just a tremendous human being. But I'm gonna say Andre Ingram. I'm gonna also say Rod Wheeler.
Nice.
Rod Wheeler played at Virginia Tech, but Rod Wheeler is the all-time leading scorer at Highland Springs High School. He scored the most points any of all those great athletes that play there. Another great individual. He's a good person. I love him to death, but just a phenomenal athlete. I'll give you a couple football players. I'm going to give you Brian Washington.
Yeah.
And I'll give you Brian Washington because Brian Washington played 9 years in the NFL. And he played 3 or 4 sports at Highland Springs High School. Just a tremendous athlete, good person. Kevin Bell came out in 1981 with me. First true freshman, I think, to start at Ohio State University. Also had a season, I believe, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but played basketball with me in football, all state, all region. Strong safety, and would tear your head off if you come across the middle of that football field.
I love it.
I know you said 4, but I got one more kid that I would be remiss if I didn't mention him because he's my favorite. He's my favorite, and he knows he is.
Oh, no.
His name is Jay Threet. Yes, sir. Jay Threet was the point guard on the 07 state championship team in Highland Springs, which to this day I say is the best assembled high school team that I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I had a chance to see him up close and personal, the team, but he was the floor general on that team. And I tell him, I say this all the time, I think we lost 2 games that year to Benedictine. But we don't win that state championship if J3 not running, he's not at the point. He was just that smart, that good, and that effective effective and efficient. He is still playing professional basketball today overseas.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's
incredible.
That point guard position, I mean, that's what I played because I wanted to distribute and I wanted to be a team player. I didn't care about points, but I mean, that's got to be huge for you, coach. When you get that point guard that like I'm going to be able to roll with this dude and it's going to change the game, right?
So much makes everything else easier. Your press break, your press, your schemes. It just makes everything else so much easier.
Ball control.
I'm shooting guard. I don't know how to pass. So
You played at Atlee.
They will tell you. I don't know what. Hey, coach, do you want me to tell you who Dave picked, or do you want me to? I can just text it to you.
You can tell me. That's fine.
Because he didn't pick anybody that you picked, which I was surprised. He picked Greg Taylor.
Okay, that's not a bad pick.
Brandon Roselle.
Buddy Lee. Yeah, Buddy Lee.
Uh-huh.
And then what sport was Buddy?
He was a wrestler. Buddy was he went to the Olympics twice. Won a bronze medal, I believe, in his event, but he was a 10-time world champion.
Wow.
Okay.
And probably his best friend.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Still, that's good credentials. Dwight Grant.
Yes. Dwight went to Virginia Tech. He was a running back at Highland Springs. He always he came out in 1982. So I always said Dwight was probably the most graceful running back I was seeing. He had long strides. He would take a sweep and cut back across the grain of the field, take it 60, 70 yards. I was a fan. I used to enjoy coming to the football games on Friday night and watching him run. That's another good pick. So many kids there, man. You just can't. That's tough to put that list together.
It's amazing how many athletes. And his fourth one was Bartholomew Moss.
Yeah, another tremendously quality young man. I mean, just a good guy. Just a nice guy. Decorated too. He had some good years there. Played 3 sports, I believe. I know he played football. He wrestled and he tracked. He threw the discus, the shot put or something in the track team. But just a good person. Still to this day, I see him. He's come from a good family. He got brothers. They just good people. He's a good person. Well deserved.
I love it. Thanks for doing that. Once again, it's much better with your contributions to that segment. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, but he did pick. Let me add a caveat to that. All those people he picked was his neighbors. They all lived in the same neighborhood that he did. So he missed a whole lot of people because all he was thinking about is his neighbor.
Yeah, he must owe some people something.
Buddy Lee and he used to live right beside each other. They grew up right beside each other, so that was his guy. So
my response to his text is going to be, do these people live near you, Dave? Because
when you hit him back, say, man, this is what you tell him. Say, man, and with all these guys out of Central Gardens that you pick?
This is that one cul-de-sac in Central Gardens.
There you go. Right. The Mount Rushmore of that cul-de-sac. All right, that's cool. All right, so last question, and once again, we appreciate you taking this much time with us because it's been a lot of fun. And this is more of a personal preference question. So it doesn't have to be a Virginia thing, even though 95% of our stuff is Virginia sports. We're going to go back to that golf theme you were talking about. And let's say you have a dream foursome. And really it could be a three people because you're one of those people. So the foursome is you and these 3 people. And these 3 people are a female athlete, a male athlete, and a coach. And that's going to be your foursome. Your dream foursome. Who would they be?
I mean, it's people I have to know, or just anybody?
Nope.
Just anybody. Dream.
Dead or
dream
alive.
for.
Elvis Presley, if you want.
Are we trying to win, or are we just having fun?
Just having fun.
You are out there having fun on the golf course.
Yeah, okay. If you want to win, that's cool too.
So we're drinking beer then.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll definitely have Coach Lancaster because he could play from the senior tees, and he's still driving the ball 250 yards from the white tee. So
Wow.
we'll be tripping. We'll be on the green too. So
Yep.
he'll definitely be on the squad.
That's what I need to get me a fake ID for golf that says I'm older, so I can move up.
Move up to the me too. I'm almost there though. I'm getting there. Let me see.
Who's your favorite basketball player of all time?
Well, I'm gonna say, one Julius Erving was. I grew up on Julius Erving,
There you go.
and that's who I grew up on. But I don't think Doc plays golf that well. I don't think he plays golf. Probably Michael Jordan.
You might have to be ready to gamble a little bit if you pull him out on the course.
Yeah, well, I lost that one before I get out the car. Let me see, a female. What's that young lady's name? Does she have to be able to play golf?
Nope.
You're just hanging on the golf course.
We just hanging on the
whatever you
golf
want to
course.
do.
We
hacking people. Yeah.
Hacking away.
Drinking beer.
Let me have Beyonce. She'll be on
There you go.
on the other one. Jay-Z won't be nowhere. Jay-Z won't be nowhere near where we are.
Hey, Coach Lancaster will appreciate that.
Yeah, he would. We'd have ball with that. And probably a coach. Well, coach, I got a coach. Probably what's my guy name from Calipari?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my guy. I like Calipari.
Yeah.
You know why I like Calipari? Yeah, he say, man, come give me 1 year and then go be a millionaire. And they come. You know, he don't want nobody. He don't want to keep nobody for 4 years.
No, what are you still doing around here?
Yeah,
I don't keep juniors.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, man? You a bum that was I wrong?
Hey, Coach Chaney had anything to say about Calipari's career might have been cut short. You remember that?
Oh my goodness, did he hate that man? He went after
Oh
that man.
boy! Oh, I'll kill
unreal.
you! Oh, that was something
He
else.
tried to kill him. He went after him.
He did.
He went after him.
That's because he knows what only very few know about Calipari's ways. I mean,
yeah, he know how many players he lost to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it. All right, Coach. Well, I think all of us are probably ready to go to bed. I appreciate the time, man. It's been awesome getting to know you.
Appreciate it.
We love to have you back on sometime. Like K-Dub said, someone like you makes it easy. It makes this easy. So
anytime, buddy. Anytime. Appreciate it. Thanks for
it.
having me, man. I mean, it's always good to feel like you are special. So you guys have made me feel special tonight. I'll go in and tell my wife she can go to sleep.
Hey, we appreciate it, Coach. Thanks a lot. We'll be in touch with you. We'll definitely be coming out and supporting you with whatever you're doing, and especially the springers and when the season gets started back up. So thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. Coach. All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Good stuff, Flip.
Hey, it's funny because you never know, and because I hadn't met Coach, all I'd heard was what Dave has told me, and Dave said nothing but glowing things. So, he lived up to it, man. He was awesome.
Well, that's the beauty of what we're able to do now, and being able to talk to these guys, and like Coach Lancaster. We got to talk to him. Like, it's the amount of just great sports people just in and around Richmond, or obviously throughout the state, but just the legends that are here and all those stories. So I'm excited to keep this going and expanding on this stuff. I mean, we've got some awesome guests lined up for the next few weeks too. So
yeah,
it's going to be incredible.
That's great. The great point, actually, Kate. We're kind of transitioned now a little bit into baseball/softball season. So for those of you who love the diamond, it's about to get it's about to get busy. So,
hey,
not
but
saying basketball yet, but
yeah, the basketball tournament's still around, so we're going to have some weekly updates from Stomp the Lunatic, Tom Hodgson. He'll jump on with you, I think, or me,
absolutely.
and give us weekly updates or each round, at least a quick update. So make sure you check out our YouTube at VA is for Sports. Check us out on all social media platforms, y'all. Flip, tell them 2 up.
Listen, like, and subscribe.
All right, 2 down. Hey, Virginia sports lovers, we appreciate your support and we thank you for listening. If you got any questions, suggestions, or a cool story, feel free to send us an email at info@virginiasforsports.com or hit us up on social media. Find us at YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. VA is for Sports. We appreciate the love.